What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol WKHS for Workhorse Group. These guys do work on electric vehicles, so be aware of that sector as a whole. On the left-hand side, we are looking at the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. This one did get a little bit of an afternoon pop there, some unusual options activity going on, but nonetheless, let's start off with our daily time frame, map out obvious areas of support and resistance, and then make our way to the 30-minute. For now, this area is jumping off the page as resistance, since we are below it now. Here we have an area of support, and certainly here an area of support as well. So we have 1067, 920, and 8, the whole number underneath us as support. Shifting that focus over to the 30-minute time frame now, what am I noticing that's just blatantly obvious here is that we are still in a downtrend, right? There has been no trend reversal here, although there is a bullish move that happened into the end of the day. The trend is still overwhelmingly down, even from the daily perspective, right? It's clearly doing that, so please don't get caught up in thinking that this is immediately going to come back to 18, right? It's just simply not how it's going to work. Zooming in a little bit, though, just to sort of focus on this and what can we do about it? Well, I would make the argument that this should be on your radar, right? If this resistance trend line can start to break, then maybe there's a chance that the trend reverses. But until that happens, it's not going to be, it's not the case, right? So zooming in a little bit further, we know that we have the resistance trend line overhead. Is there anything else that's jumping off the page from this intraday perspective? I would sort of say yes, right? This is going to act as a little bit of a zone. You can see that prior support from in here, and this is prior resistance right here. So that's 955 up to about 963. Depending on when this happens tomorrow, this could coincide for a super resistance in this area, in which case the favorable setup would be go short, right? Go short here and look for a move back into this 920 floor. If we get here, monitor for continuation lower. Checking in on the options chain. This one is hard to borrow the shares, but in terms of options, how are we doing? Open interest is not that great on the put side. Some good at the money volume, but again, remembering that we only have 3 days to go, theta is going to start to burn, and this is not something I would advise to swing trade. Obviously, this is for day trades only. Our next expiration cycle here, let's check in on volume, and actually, here we go. That's probably the unusual options activity that triggered this whole thing going on. What is going on with this put side activity? I'm not entirely sure, but the volume that was conducted at these two strikes, both 9 as well as 8, it looks like there is enough volume there to make trading this worthwhile, so keep that in mind to the downside. Those are the strikes to watch for if we get into here and the short is available. Obviously, your stop is just up above. What do you look for? Obviously, inverted hammers, right? The opposite of what we talk about when we're looking to go long, so longer upper wick, indecision dojis, basically anything that would make you question, is this pop going to be sold? Can we go short under the lows and look to start to target this with the stop over the highs as we just discussed? If we get a breakout here, though, and it really has momentum, and you just, maybe you're someone who just wants to look for the long trade, if we can break all of this resistance and get price acceptance up and over, I would argue it's just going to be 960 at this point. Price acceptance above that, our next major target is right here, probably around 1010, right? If I do something like this, you can see that we had prior support from in here, prior support as well as resistance there. So 1012, 1010 is generally going to act as that next number to the upside. To the downside, again, we talked about that 920, but what is the next target underneath? Probably just these lows here. I'd call it 9 the whole dollar, right? Just a nice psychological number before really getting into that 808, which we marked off from the daily perspective. So favoring the downside, upside is not off the table, but it's not as likely as trend continuation, a move lower here inside of Workhorse. So if you enjoyed today's video, if you learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.